Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've been feeling totally overwhelmed lately by this constant modern hustle, where literally everything feels absolutely urgent and it seems like everyone around you is crushing some huge milestone that you aren't, well, let's just hit pause for a second. Deep breath. You are absolutely not alone in feeling this way. Today, in this explainer, we're going to build a really wholesome understanding of how to just filter out all that overwhelming noise. We're diving into a mental framework that's going to help you tell the difference between a life goal that actually matters and the stuff that just feels exciting for a fleeting second.
So, let's dive into this by picturing two very different things you'd find if you were standing on a crazy, chaotic city street. First up, the horn. It's incredibly loud, it feels super urgent, and it's literally impossible to ignore. But then, it's just gone in a second. That horn? That perfectly represents the illusions of social approval, momentary hype, and that fake urgency we all kind of get sucked into chasing. But now contrast that with a rickshaw. It's way less dramatic, honestly a little bit slow, but it actually dictates where you end up. Real goals work exactly the same way. Some things are just noise screaming for your attention, while others give you true, quiet, lasting direction.
Which brings us right to Part 1, the core framework: weight, direction, and fit. All right, let's start with the first pillar, weight. I honestly hadn't really thought about it this way before, but a meaningful goal has to literally carry weight. Meaning, it still matters to you in private, when absolutely nobody is watching or clapping for you. Think of it like carrying a bag. A lightweight goal that's built purely on getting attention, that's exactly like a paper bag. Sure, it looks totally full and super impressive from the outside, but the second things get rough, or, it rains, it completely collapses. A weighty goal, though, is more like a sturdy canvas bag. It actually holds your effort without tearing, even when your mood shifts or you're just bored out of your mind.
And that idea of weight ties perfectly into our second pillar, direction. It's pretty fascinating when you realize that a meaningful goal isn't just some fleeting desire. Desires are just like a flickering candle. They spark up, they're super bright, and they scream, "I want this right now!" But they blow out with the slightest breeze. A true goal, that acts way more like a compass. The needle might shake around a bit at first, but eventually it settles and points in one steady direction. It essentially tells you, okay, this is where I am trying to move, which gives your daily effort a reliable shape and really cuts down on the confusion, especially on those days when the work just feels incredibly hard.
Third up is fit. Imagine a goal that doesn't fit your actual life, like you're wearing borrowed clothing. Sure, borrowing someone else's fancy, oversized suit might make you look really impressive from far away. But when you actually try to walk in it, it's painfully awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it just creates a ton of unnecessary friction. You feel ridiculous. An aligned fit, on the other hand, might still be tough to wear, but it feels like it's yours. It holds together from the inside out, naturally matching who you actually are in your day-to-day reality.
All right, moving from theory to practice with Section 2, the crucible. Testing goals against reality.
Because look, a goal might sound amazing in your head, but just like a physical bridge is tested by the actual heavy weight it holds over time, not by how pretty the blueprint looks, a goal has to survive 3 specific kinds of real-world friction. First is time. Ask yourself, does this still matter to me after that initial rush of excitement totally fades? Second is cost. Are you really willing to pay for this with your effort, your focused attention, and honestly, a lot of delay? And third, trade-offs. What does choosing this exact goal exclude from the rest of your life? Fake goals always feel super easy early on because they haven't demanded you make a hard choice about these frictions yet.
So, the really crucial point here is this hidden question living right underneath every serious ambition. What am I actually willing to give up for this? The moment a goal asks you for a real sacrifice, the whole illusion of an easy, decorative mood just shatters. If a goal can't survive even a minor inconvenience, it was probably never a real anchor for you anyway. It was just a mood. An actual goal fundamentally changes your behavior, and most importantly, it changes what you consciously stop chasing.
This leads us nicely into Section 3, outer versus inner pressure.
A fantastic way to stress test your goals is to ruthlessly figure out where the pressure driving them is actually coming from. Let's look at outer pressure first. This is pressure coming entirely from the outside world. Social comparison, whatever is trending, or heavy family expectations. For instance, take someone in Pakistan deciding to pursue a really prestigious career entirely for the status it brings to their local community. Outer pressure can absolutely create massive speed and momentum at first, for sure, but it doesn't necessarily create deep meaning. And when you slam into the harsh reality of 80-hour work weeks, daily stress, and huge financial costs,
A goal driven purely by outer pressure almost always breaks. In contrast, we have inner pressure. What's so interesting about this is how much quieter it is, yet it is so much more trustworthy. It stems from a core value you just can't ignore, a coherent direction, or a standard you quietly hold yourself to in private. Now, a goal could be socially respected, ethically good, super impressive, and still fail to spark this inner fit for you right now. But if it doesn't, that's not a failure on your part, not at all. It's simply really valuable information, telling you that true meaning is incredibly personal and highly contextual.
When a real goal actually survives this reality test of pressure and friction, a really amazing thing happens. It doesn't necessarily become easier, but it does become dramatically simpler. False goals, they need constant, complicated explanations to stay alive, because they rely so heavily on performing for outside approval. But a meaningful goal naturally sheds all that flashy decoration for a super clean, sturdy structure. Saying things like, I want to build something useful, or I want to become someone who can be trusted, well, they might not sound super flashy at a dinner party, but they actually have the structural integrity to survive reality.
And that brings us to the ultimate payoff in Section 4, a direction that sticks.
By actually trusting what remains after all the noise fades away, you undergo this massive, totally liberating identity shift. You go from being someone who frantically chases every loud option to someone who steadily tests and deliberately chooses their direction. You literally stop borrowing meaning from outside approval or fantasy. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Whenever you feel pulled by some shiny new ambition, ask yourself this one simple, profound question. Does your goal still make sense when the noise drops away? The answer might really surprise you. It might even force you to rethink everything you're currently chasing today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now go take a hard look at your own compass.